Okay, here is the fourth part of the Way of the Warrior. And we're going to talk about equipment for a few minutes. And equipment is so important. But more important than equipment is training with that equipment. No equipment is worth anything without the training to go with it. So, equipment, starting right out of the gate. So, two is one and one is nothing. These are some old rules. If you take care of your equipment will take care of you. Those two things you need to always remember. All right, so we're going to invest in weapons, food, and medical and training. So when we buy weapons, we want to think about our first line, our second line, and our third line gear. Whatever that is. If your first line is a belt and your second line is a plate carrier, and then your third line is your backpack and that sort of thing, then so be it. Invest in those things. Get those things and get them ready. Prioritize over fun. What does that mean? So when you pick out equipment that isn't just fun equipment. Because a lot of people go out and buy equipment because it's fun stuff. Like the backpack. Oh, it's a fun backpack. But is it functional? Make it part of your budget. So your equipment should be part of your budget. Like you budget for food, you budget for rent, you budget for this. So you also put a budget every month in for your equipment that you have to have a certain amount of equipment and put money in to be able to purchase that equipment, whether it's ammo or whether it's MREs or whatever it is, um, parts for your weapon, night vision, that kind of thing. Um, Sell or trade to achieve. So here's the thing. I know a lot of people that go out and buy equipment to start with, and they'll buy stuff and they'll get it, and then they'll say, "Oh, this is not what I was wanting." Shit. So, and they can't take it back. Well, there might be someone else that particular backpack or that particular pair of boots or whatever, that might be something that they would like to have. So, ask around, trade around. If the weapon isn't what you want, trade around and get the piece of equipment you want. So you could sell or trade to get the stuff that you want. And I know a lot of times, I know at my home we have a lot of extra stuff that even out in the barn, old lawnmowers and things like that. And I think they're not worth anything, but we put them up for sale and we get a couple $100. But guess what? That buys a nice backpack. So things like that. Choose function over fad. Function over fad. And that's a big one. There's a lot of Gucci equipment out there. And I mean, you can buy backpacks that's in the thousands of dollars, and you can buy $100 backpack that'll do basically the same thing. If it functions, then it don't have to be, the fad name. Get proper equipment, not gadgets. Now we got people that show up all the time and they are gadget kings. Hey man, did you see this new gadget? How much that cost? $20. Well, you see this thing here? This does this and this does that, and it's all this bullshit gadget stuff that hangs on your plate carrier, hangs on your gear, and hangs on your backpack, and it does nothing but cost you money because it looks cool or it makes you feel like you have one other little gadget. So ditch the gadgets, spend your money on good solid equipment. Use what works, not what looks cool. That's kind of like the gadget thing. So what works and what looks cool. And there's things that people show up with these weird ass vests all the time and they go, "Yeah, look at this." And it looks cool, but it sucks. It gets in the way of your pistol draw. It hangs up on everything. You go through the woods, it grabs and catches on stuff. So, yeah, it might look cool, but it doesn't work. So, choose what works, not what looks cool. Standardize with your teammates. If you're on a team, a warrior team of some sort, then make sure that everybody is standardized. A good example, if everybody can use Glock 19s or the Glock 9 millimeter, then most people can share mags. A Glock 19, Glock 17, a Glock 19X, all these things can share mags. So that's a good thing. An AR platform. If everybody's using AR platforms, we can all share mags. And that's another good thing. Standardize also means we all have our belt set up really close to the same, even though some of us left hand and right hand, we all have some basic things on there that we know. So we all have a IFAC on our belt. So we're standardized on IFAC. We all have the same stuff in our IFAC. And when we open our IFAC, we know where the tourniquet is, we know where the gauze is, we know where the chest seals are, and all this stuff. So we don't have to hunt around to help our teammate. And so we standardize. Same way with our comms gear. Our comms gear is all the same so that we can all talk on the same channels. We don't get screwed up on things. And so we standardize as much as possible. But we also have the freedom to work independently with our own stuff. So like some people like, a good example is I like both ARs and I like the Israeli Tavor. And the Tavor is a separate type of weapon, but guess what? It uses AR mags, which is standardized, and that's kind of what we need. So make sure that you look and try to standardize as much as possible, especially on medical, on mags, on commo, and make sure everyone is kind of on the same sheet of music. So that kind of wraps up the equipment side of things. I mean, we could go really deep into equipment. I know a lot of people want you to say, well, this is the best holster to buy, or this is the best backpack to buy. And honestly, I'm not going to sit and be a, person for a certain backpack or certain holster or whatever, because I've went through so many different holsters before I came to the one that I like. And what I like may not be what fits you. I'm left-handed, you're right-handed, or you might be left-handed too, I don't know. And some people are both-handed. And plate carriers, what fits my body structure may not fit yours, and it might not feel good on yours. You might like a quick release. You might like God knows. There's so many different styles of everything. So standardize all you can, but then modify and customize to the point where it works good for you. Okay, so that's just hitting the top of the iceberg of the equipment and the talk on equipment, and kind of get you thinking about equipment a little bit. Okay? Go out, make your space, your family, your team, your home, and yourself better.